Before we begin, thank you very much to Gazner for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. So the outro, I'm going to be updating to reflect all of my newest highest patrons soon. I have to wait until after a few days after the Patreon pays out at the beginning of the month, because for some reason it loses track of, like, I don't know, like, you know, anywhere between 5 and 10 people every single month. No one deletes it. No one deletes the patronage, but the total goes way down, and I don't get why. So I have to make sure everything is in line and all the bells and whistles are going off before I change anything. So, like, I think we should be at 500 by now, but Patreon keeps losing track of people. It's weird. Double check your stuff. Make sure everything's, like, okay on your end. And thank you very much for actually supporting the channel and keeping it alive. I promised I was going to do a part 2 of my Christmas haul because, as I stated, there's a lot of stuff that was late and delayed this year. Thank you very much, Amazon. Unfortunately, the last thing came in today, and I was putting it off and promising a part 2 of the Christmas haul because I knew the last thing coming in was going to be pretty significant and pretty big. And it was, but it was too big. In fact, it was the wrong device altogether. That it was supposed to be a green screen. It was supposed to be a green screen that just something I could just set up on one tripod behind me and pull down, like, you know, like a movie projector. That way I can just, like, quickly set up a green screen for when I live stream and actually, like, have effects going in the background instead of just my normal camera. I really thought I picked the right thing. Apparently I did not. It's this big, like, drill it to the wall style pull down screen. There's nothing I can do with that. There's nothing I can do with that. So my search for convenience rolls on, and in the meantime, so that's got to go back. So what I have left is decidedly a lot smaller than I expected. I really don't have a whole lot more, but since I said I was going to do part 2 and show the rest of the haul, I might as well do part 2 and show the rest of the haul. And I'll throw in a couple other things here. For starters, we will get the last Funko Pop out of the way, and it's a tiny little Bulbasaur. Getting the Pokemon Funko Pops might be a dangerous rabbit hole. I do have more on the way. Since I only got this one, I had to get Squirtle and Charmander, of course. So I had to have all 3 of the starters. You know, go full Pokemon Yellow get all 3 starters and a Pikachu. So those are on the way. I think more or less I just kind of want to support this particular brand of Funko Pop until they actually manage to get a Scyther, which eventually they'll run out of original 151, and they'll have to do Scyther at some point. Don't know when that'll be. Do a 3-pack. Do a 3-pack with Scizor and the new one. Like, you know, because it's going to be one of the rare times that Scyther has a little bit more attention than usual. But who cares about Funko Pops, right? So I got one thing that was a little bit early. I actually forgot to include this in the first video, so I actually talked about it a little bit on WTF at TFW. If you're listening to that podcast, why aren't you listening to that podcast? I podcast over at TFW2005.com with Vangelis and Aaron. Yeah, there's like over 600 episodes worth. I'm not on all of them, but yeah. It's not just here where I'm making content. I'm making content other places too. Like my Twitch channel. Go check out the Twitch description in the below. Cheap plug. Anyway, Reaper from Beastbox. So I've always had a thing for praying mantis. Apparently, my mom would tell me that when they were in our backyard as a kid, I would just, like, stare at them all. I just spend an afternoon staring at them. Like, I was just fascinated by these things. And yeah, I still am. Obviously, by my favorite Pokemon, you know I still am. And now I have this robotic one. And the robotic one is quite cool. It still amazes me. Like, I still have this weird fascination. And it definitely comes from Soundwave's cassettes of getting so many different shapes. There's so many different, like, robots out of, like, the same basic geometric shape. I think I explained that the last video, and I'll explain it again, because it's still relevant. I don't know, like, Beastbox I feel like wears thin if I get too much of it, so I try to pick and choose, and that's definitely one I wanted to pick. Who knows? Might get a few others. Let's see. I'm trying to think. What else? I'm trying to think. I'm staring at it. Check this boy out. The Monster Arts Ravalos. Absolutely awesome. Every time I looked this thing up, it just looked like the Revoltech version again. Like, I literally think I went to shop listings that had, like, stock images of the Revoltech instead of the Monster Art version. But look at it. It's, like, it's way bigger. It's way more detailed. And, of course, there's no revolver joints, which I've grown to hate. No, it's all hinges and ball sockets. Unfortunately, like, I have that. Like, this ball joint stem is just way too loose, and they will not hold that up. I have to, like, hook it on top of the other section of the wing. So that might be the first time where I, like, have to go out and do, like, the super glue or future floor polish fix. Because that is, like, it's, like, really way too loose. Like, I feel like it's, like, almost the wrong part even, because it's hanging way too far out from his wing. If that's a common thing and there's a fix, I would love to know about it, because it's super frustrating. It's such an expensive and big figure, has such a damning flaw to it, because otherwise this thing is incredible. Absolutely love it, except for that stupid flaw. And there's alternate wing parts. I haven't tried them out yet. There's part of me hoping maybe that fixes it, or at least makes it a little bit more stable, one or the other. I don't know. Like, it literally feels like the wrong parts in there. But there's nothing I can do about that. Frustrating. I hate, like, I don't want to disparage something I got for Christmas, because I absolutely do love my Monster Hunter, and that is way, way nicer of a figure than I thought. But that one flaw is, like, hurting it so bad. More? All right. So before we get into, like, there's 3 big ones that I'm going to finish with, but I'm going to show you something my boss actually got me. So aside from a few other things, there's one in particular I wanted to show off, because we had a discussion about somebody months back about how much they left an impression on me as a kid. So they saw a toy they saw a toy of it somewhere at Target, I presume. And that he knew that was the Christmas present. He knew that is what he had to get me. It is NECA's Bob Ross, complete with easel, paintbrushes, his little like thinner pot, his easel, his palette, his everything. I don't even know if I want to take it out of the box. I think there's something like kind of magical about just leaving it that way. I don't know where he'd go if I did take him out of the box. Yeah, so I've always been an artist. I've always been, like, I've always drawn. I never was really that good at painting, but I was a sketch artist. Like, that was my, like, thing. Like, I drew. Okay, full disclosure, my webcam just locked up and everything on the screen froze, so I have no idea where I left off. So I'm just going to continue with why this is so influential. So, people ask me, like, how do you get into YouTube? Like, give me some advice. As a new YouTuber, what would you tell me? And I would tell you, never be satisfied. I would tell you that as long as you can be happy with what you produce, but never be satisfied with what you're producing. Never be like content with the way it looks or the way it moves. As long as you stay unsatisfied, you're still going to have a drive to improve. And that's vital. If you are any kind of creative person, if you're any kind of artist or performer, you've got to always have that drive to get a little bit better. Now, you know, because as soon as you're satisfied with what you're doing, you stop growing as an artist. Period. And I thought, like, okay, it's okay. That's some sage advice I can pass on to people. All right, fine. I watched an episode of Joy of Painting where he said basically the same thing. Freaked me out. Like, okay, so like somewhere down the line, Bob Ross, when I was just a wee lad, like drilled something into my head that shaped me creatively for the rest of my life. Okay. Didn't expect that, but apparently that was a thing. But that was fun. There's another Bob Ross one in there. A Bob Ross Chia Pet, which was a gag gift. That kind of gift giver. Still. Appreciate it. Like, very, very cool of him to remember a conversation like that. And how important Bob Ross was to me. And, like, to keep that in mind all the way to Christmas. Very cool. He got me a booster box too, so like it wasn't just like jokey kind of gifts. Like he was good to me. So big three we're gonna finish off on. First off, got me the Revice driver. I didn't think I would be getting this belt because, well, it's not my style of henshin belt. I like belts that look more like high-tech pieces of engineering rather than this. This is very toyetic. This is very, like, obviously made of plastic kind of style. But, like, the effect is cool. Like, and, like, the vice stamp is, like, way bigger than I thought it would be. Like, that's a... You know, compared to, like, a Gaia memory or an Astro Switch, that's massive. So that's actually kind of fun. And, like... The fact that, like, some of them are strong enough that I can put them, like, on the railing on my bed and they just stay there is kind of funny. Because it's all magnets. Yeah. This has been fun to goof with. And I've already got the upgrade stuff on the way. So I'm gonna be goofing with that. I don't know if I'm going to review it or not. It might be at a moot point at this rate. But, you know, fun to have. And then... Because one henshin belt for Christmas wasn't enough. No, we have to have another one. And then we have to go to, like, one of my favorites, which is... Decade. And the complete selection... Well, not complete selection, but Premium Bandai Complete 21. You know, and the Neo Deca driver as well, of course. Third Deca driver I've owned. After the first one broke and glitched, I didn't even, like... when I stopped playing with the complete selection Deca driver, instead of like putting it out on display with a card in it, like I messed up doing with the original Deca driver, I dismantled the thing, packed it all away in a plastic box, and I put it away so like nothing gets onto it, no dust gets into it, no cards holding any buttons down, no batteries are leaking into it. It's like hermetically sealed, so it's not going to affect anything. So hopefully that Deca driver stays intact. I don't know about this one, though. I don't know what I'll do with this one. I'm not as into the pink Deca driver as the original, but I am into a Deca driver that has 20 different henshins in it. Like, that's always the cool thing about a Deca driver. Tons of henshins in one toy. This one has a lot more than usual, so... Awesome. Again, don't know if I'll review it. I think I'm beyond like reviewing every little toy I get. It's mostly just going to be like whatever I feel like. Alright, so I'm going to finish off on a bit of a cheat because it's going to be the Christmas present I got myself because I didn't want to ask anyone else for it. And also because I got a really good deal on it thanks to some box damage that I found on eBay. And that was this. The Ark. So, toy-wise, I wasn't entirely into getting the Ark because it's not a character. You know, the robot mode's modeled after the last Autobot, but like I don't really have any attachment myself to like the Autobot space shuttle. Like, it's the ship, it's the home base, but it's not a character I'm attached to, even if you break it down to, like, Teletran 1. But, to get it on the cheap? Okay, yeah, I'll try it out. I mean, it's fun. I think there's something, like, really novel about a toy this big that just turns into a vehicle rather than a city or a playset of any kind. I do wish the internals were a little bit more convenient to get into. That would be nice. But you know what? For what it is, I do think it is a very cool piece. I don't know what to do with it. I'm out of space for Titans, and then I still got one more. But yeah, this was my present to myself. So just so we can end off on a good big note on this particular Christmas haul video, I thought let's just throw the Ark in there so we can talk about it just for a minute, just for a hot minute. But that will do it for me for Christmas in 2021. Thank you guys for watching. I still don't know why people like seeing my Christmas hauls, but they do. So, okay. I don't know if next year's even going to have one, because families and situations are going to be changing a lot this year. But stay tuned. You know, if I don't have that coming, I'm obviously going to have something else coming, because that's how things have been going lately. There's always something new, and you never know what it's going to be tomorrow. And I kind of like it that way. So tune in. You never know what tomorrow's going to be. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.